Hello everyone, Russell Wright from networkempire.com and curationprofits.com. Today I'm going to answer some pretty important questions that keep coming in about Google++ in our Google++ course. You can visit this course at g-++.com, and this is all about how to integrate the powerful functionality of the private Google+ pages and their RSS syndication, SEO integration, and social media viral propagation. All three of those things can be happening with the click of a single button called the Google +1 button. And it's a complex topic, and without taking my course I can't really get into the total explanation, but it is important that I answer Terry's question not with a simple answer, but also with an explanation of how Google is thinking about Google+. And you know, I'm just not making this up. I'm actually coming from the perspective of programming. You can tell what Google is thinking by the way they've laid out what Brock Predovich calls the Google social operating system. And I'm going to show you what I mean, but first I'm going to look at the question that Terry has given me, and I'm going to answer it both for people who've taken the Google+ course, and I'm going to also answer it for, even if you've never taken the course, I'm going to answer it for people who maybe are not familiar with Google+. So Terry asks me, he has a main Google+ account set up for his SEO consulting business, but he also has an internet marketing business targeting newbies. Okay, and how do I get a second business on Google+? I'm thinking a page isn't enough, and then I would need a separate Google+ account for that and all of its content. I assume multiple accounts are against Google's terms of service. What should I do to have both business using the Google++ system? Okay, what should he do? Terry's asking me, what should he do to have both businesses using the Google++ system? Okay, that is the real question. If you're asking about my system, created by myself, Sue Bell, and the Network Empire team, you have to make very clear discernment about what you need these multiple pages for. I'm going to answer the simple version, and I'm going to answer the complex explanation because I want you to understand how something works, not just what to do. Okay. Yes, it is against the Google terms of service to have, for a single person, to have more than one Google+ account. They are soon going to be adding, if they have already, those of you who are Google+ experts, forgive me, I haven't been kept up to speed. They're going to be adding what's called Google+ aliases. So if you've got any nicknames or pseudonyms or the rest, you can add that to your account. You can be also known as that person. But what I want you to know is that officially the terms of service, the whole purpose of designing this social operating system is so that it's actually a movement towards human authenticity, and it's a movement away from anonymity, and the whole purpose is so that you can't spread yourself around fake accounts. Therefore, I would caution people against creating private Google+ feed accounts. For example, this is my Russell Wright private Google+ page, and I would not have this. I created another page that is also Russell Wright before I knew how the operating system was working. I don't use that account anymore, and I would probably not use it with any dependency or prolifically because I know where things are heading. Part of this has to do with how they're facing the social graph. But the reason you shouldn't think in terms of how you'll be penalized, although it's good to be aware that if you have multiple accounts and you're creating multiple Google+ fake accounts, that you very well could get shut down for any reason. Any kind of spamming, anything that's against terms of service, Google reserves the right to shut you down. So there's no point in doing that. But the other thing is just being aware that it's a lot of work to effectively develop and build your social graph on your About page. You can see that I have other profiles. You can see that I have contributors. These are all authentic accounts. Eventually they're going to be moving right into Quora. They're going to include Quora on their social graph even more prolifically than they are, and that's really going to build the social ranking and social value. It's going to be hard to become a fake person. It'll become more and more difficult to become a fake person with any kind of clout. We're moving way beyond services like clout.com that will determine whether or not a human being is real, just based on their clout score. It is still possible to game clout and other services like that, but soon it will be very difficult to do so. However, That being said, you can have any number. Every family member is entitled to one Google Plus account. So, or any business member. So, you may want to think about having a Google Plus account set up for your business partner, or finding a social media person, or having a person that's associated with that account that's not you. You should determine who you want to be, and then get into business with somebody that has a personal account, or one of your staff members can have a personal account, or somebody, I'm going to say this carefully, somebody who represents your staff member for that particular business. Why do you want to do that rather than go to a Google Plus page? Yes, Terry, you were correct in assuming that you cannot implement the same system, the Google Plus system that we've created, with a Google Plus page. That is the entire point. And I'm going to show you some secrets right here as to why you don't want to do that. Keeping in mind, everybody watching, that our system and the software we're developing creates an RSS feed for the Google Plus and for the Google Plus posts in order to safely and within terms of service propagate your ideas, your concepts, and your own personal domains based on premium content curation to the web at a rate which has pretty much not been seen before. Okay, it really is a lot of power, because Google Plus is a lot of power handed to you. Okay, so we're going to look at what this is. You can see that the private page, my page, has a shallow plus and a deep plus. We have to get into that just a little bit, and it's covered very well in the course. Shallow plus, deep plus. Okay. Now, this is really important to understand. I think this is where the confusion is coming for a lot of people. When you think deep plus, think the new Google search engine result page. Let's go over there and just take a look at that. Okay. Should you have more than one Google Plus account? Okay, this is, I was seeing whatever information there was. I want you to look in the new Google engine, what they're doing. You can see that there's a human being, and then there is the world. Okay, let's remind each other what this represents. Okay, the world represents the old search engine, so to speak, old search engine, more or less, even though you can see a ton of Google Plus results in there just because I've mentioned Google Plus. Okay, let's look at Time Magazine, something simple here. Okay, you can see that now you have more or less results that look like they used to in the old days, so to speak, more or less. You click on this to show personal results, and now we're back into the social graph. Okay, so this is a major revolution that happened overnight. Most people are missing it. Now you're back into the ability. Now you have the ability to plus. Okay, let's go back out to the old search engine again, the regular or Google proper, Google legacy. You can see that those pluses don't appear anymore. They've carefully split the left brain and the right brain. Okay, actually I would say this is the right brain. The personal results are the right brain, and the planet results are going to be the left brain. That's my personal opinion about how that's laid out. Okay, but I want to point out is that these plus symbols, the ability to plus yourself or plus other people, is gone. Okay, when you go over to the Google search engine proper. And that was a major change, because people were afraid that Google was going to replace the entire engine with only social results. Well, they haven't done that. They've given you the option. I think that people who are tending to be social will use this type of search result. People who are tending to be a little less social and more clinical are going to use that result. But I digress. So what's useful here to understand is that, let me just go ahead and look at theme zoom video. Let's just type theme zoom video in here. Okay. That's what I like to see. Okay, so if you go over to theme zoom, okay, I'm going to a blog post, so on and so forth. Actually, let me try something a little bit different. Let's just try a basic plus here. Okay, you can see that this has a white plus over it. This is an old video journal I did. It was never plussed by myself because it existed before Google Plus. Okay, so you can see it hasn't been plussed. The way you tell is that it's blue if it's been plussed already. It's not blue if it hasn't been. Recommend this page. Okay, if I shallow plus, it's going to end up over in my Google profile in what's called the +1 area. If I refresh, you'll see the thing I just plushed on the page. Theme Zoom Secret Labs Video Journal. It's now here. Well, for most people, that's where it ends. But with our system that Terry was talking about in Google++, that's going to go out to a feed, and it's going to be syndicated again to the RSS directories. We had to create a special technology to make that happen, an RSS feed, because all the Google Plus RSS feeds are failing, and almost none of them ever had a +1 feed. But that's what it's supposed to do. Imagine the power in that. You just plus yourself, and you just you re-ping them, and they get submitted to the RSS directories, and everything is great. A deep plus would actually put that on. If I deep plussed it, by deep plus, you can't do it on deep plus on the engine anymore. You have to go to the actual item itself. Okay, you click share. A deep plus would be here. Go. Okay. And so a little bit, people do have a problem getting the D plus active. I've got a help desk ticket I've got to answer on that. A D plus, you got to hover over it a little bit longer, and then you got to put your cursor in the bar, and you got to say, this is a test. Okay? You can see what I just did there? And as soon as I click share, that's going to appear on my status update, not the shallow plus, but the D plus. That's a big deal. It's going to go out and stick itself right in front of all of my friends on the status update circle. In fact, I would really rather have not done that. Because it's an old post, so I'm going to end up deleting it. But I just want, for the purpose of this demonstration, you can see the entire thing is now in my status update. Okay, that also goes out to a feed, but the feed that we send that out to in our Google++ system is going to be more social feeds, such as RSS Graffiti and Facebook, to your Twitter army, to your Hootsuite. Anytime you have a location where that goes to a social environment, where you can penetrate that environment with a feed, or thread it with a feed, you want to do that. Okay, so this is an incredibly powerful system, because we know that we're dealing with the human world and the machine world at the same time with a single plus. You cannot do that with a page. Okay, you can't use our system with a page. Okay, for example, if I go to give you an example, just really quick, let's go to the landing page for Google+. All right. And you can see right down the drop down says one page. I've created one page as an experiment. All you have to do is go to that page, and you can see that Google has changed the user up here. It's no longer me. Now I'm browsing as theme zoom. There is no Charla Plus function, okay, in the theme zoom page. All you have to do is go and look at it. Just click on theme zoom. You can see there's no plus here. Okay, it's just missing. They don't allow for that technology. There's a reason for that. They're not going to give brand pages the power to socially choose, because they know that they'll just hire people to create and tweak their own social updates. And they're trying to get away from that. So pages are not going to be social. That shallow plus is really a voting system that they want human beings, individual human beings, to utilize. Okay, not brands, because brands will pay to manipulate that. So to answer your question, you really don't want to use pages for the Google++ system that we've created, because you can't. And not only that, you can see right here that I'm logged in as ThemeZoom. But even when you're logged in as ThemeZoom as a page, when you go over to, say, a brand or whatever, when you go over to a video or something that you want to plus, shallow plus, or deep plus, when you try to do so, even though you're logged in as your page, when you hover over, it's going to say publicly plus this one as Russell Wright. So it still is going to default to the individual social page, not to the brand page, which renders the brand pages pretty obsolete when it comes to social voting. So I hope that really makes a lot of sense, Terry. The answer is get somebody in your family or an agent or somebody you hire to represent your brand for the business, but stay congruent with your own life, focus, and purpose. In other words, follow the money when it comes to what you want to represent for your personal page. And keep it real, and keep it authentic, and thread your Google Plus business matrix through your private Google Plus page that's the most congruent with all of your businesses. And then have individuals represent those Google Plus private pages until Google Plus pages becomes more adaptable to the methods that we teach. It's really got its limitations. It does allow for circles now, Google Plus pages, and there's some more flexibility coming in. It's also going to have a lot more power when it comes to Hangouts and the rest, and Hangouts Live we'll talk about in the members area. But just know you should have authentic pages with their own authentic graph and a representative for that page, a private page. I'm talking about the Google Plus personal page. Have somebody in your other business represent that page, and follow all the same systems that we're showing. When the feed software comes out, you can have a unique shallow and deep plus feed for all the pages, all the personal private Google Plus accounts in your business. Okay, and Google Plus pages have their place, but they're not for using the Google Plus system. Google Plus pages are great for getting some ranking and having an About Us page and having a branded setup. They're also in the future be really useful for Google for Hangouts when Hangouts becomes fully automated for the businesses. I hope this makes sense. If you have more questions, visit us at curationprofits.com or g-++.com. Take our course, visit us at Network Empire. We're going to give you some really, really powerful information about how to make this stuff work. Russell Wright, signing off.